The Senate Parliamentarian has ruled that some of the proposed cuts to Medicaid in the budget bill are against Senate rules. By rejecting those provisions, some people say the Senate Parliamentarian is putting the status of the bill itself into question, and it certainly challenges the timeline. You'll remember the Senate wanted to get this bill to the president's desk by the 4th of July. But her ruling doesn't mean that those cuts are gone for good. A simple rewording might be enough to put them back into the budget. Let's take a look at some of those Medicaid provisions that the parliamentarian says are against Senate rules. Medicaid provider tax freezes or cuts, restricting Medicare and Medicaid coverage of immigrants who are not citizens, prohibiting federal funding of Medicaid and CHIP, Children's Health Insurance Program, for immigrants whose status cannot be immediately verified, lowering the federal matching rate from 90% to 80% for some states that use their own money to pay for immigrant Medicaid enrollees, and states that have expanded Medicaid, and the ban on gender-affirming care in Medicaid. But it wasn't just Medicaid that was looked at by the parliamentarian. She also took out some of the proposed cuts to the Affordable Care Act, such as prohibiting some marketplace enrollees from getting tax credits, prohibiting tax credits for lower-income folks not otherwise eligible for Medicaid, and other Affordable Care Act limits, such as the proposed end to silver loading. The Senate parliamentarian has not yet ruled on other provisions that are still under review, and we'll give an update on those in the near future. Those include things like repealing a rule relating to eligibility and enrollment in Medicare savings programs, repealing a rule relating to eligibility and enrollment in Medicaid and Children's Health Insurance programs, repealing nursing home staffing regulations and transparency, and banning providers like Planned Parenthood from getting Medicaid reimbursements. Now, earlier this week, the parliamentarian had ruled that the budget bill's proposal to make some states cover some of the cost of SNAP benefits was against Senate rules. And the Senate has since reframed their language on those cuts. They've given the states essentially more time between determining what their error rate is and then determining how much the states will be responsible for funding some of the food share program. They still have to get permission from the parliamentarian to move forward with that language. And again, we'll give you an update on that once that is decided. So let's look at options moving forward. The Senate parliamentarian, as we know, is the rules referee, and she's following the Byrd rule of what can be included because they are using budget reconciliation rules to get this through the Senate with a simple majority and avoiding a filibuster. So the senators can actually go back and try to rewrite those provisions that the parliamentarians that are against the rules. They can change the rules of what is allowed under reconciliation, or they can just forge ahead and instead of getting a simple majority, go for a full 60 votes instead. And in which case, it's a little risky. They could be opening the door to a filibuster. Either way, the parliamentarian's decision recently is seen as a setback. She is still reviewing other parts of the bill, like the finance section, and her ruling on each of those provisions could, like we say, delay a vote on the bill. So it is questionable if this will make it to the president by the 4th of July. You can read more on the recent cuts to Medicaid and the parliamentarian's decision. We link to many resources in the description below.